What's up, everybody? Brothers, sisters, psychonauts, and seekers of truth. It is Ananka, and welcome to my bazaar. Today, I have an Oxymorphone, or better known as Opana, trip report for you. The title of this trip report is Top Class, and was submitted to Erowid in 2018 by the user X Murder X Mafia X. With all that being said, let our story begin. Well, let me begin by stating that my experience with drugs is one that a veteran might only know of. I have tried everything excluding heroin and meth. Many of the things I have tried just because my attitude since I was 15 has been one of always wanting to push the limits and know what these great chemicals do to my own mindset, and whether or not I can withstand the addiction that can sometimes occur. Well, in the spring of 2009, I got my hands on about 40 hydrocodone 7.5 milligrams, which I abused heavily for 4 days in various ways. Water extraction, then snorting, smoking, but never injecting anything. The first day after my binge, I had work and experienced flu-like symptoms with muscle tension and a headache that wouldn't go away. That night and a few that preceded, it was impossible to have a good sleep. It wasn't until a month later that it hit me. I had experienced withdrawal from a drug. Fast forward to May of 2010. I was getting brought to work one day by my father, whom I usually take the drugs I abuse from. The hydros that I binged on, for example, would have cost me a few $100s at least, but I always just found my dad's stash. And while I was tying a shoelace, I saw a CVS prescription packet under my foot. I gently read it, not allowing him to notice my curiosity to it, and it said 5-06-10, 1 day prior to this date I am explaining. My mind jumped in excitement that this was a recent packet, not an outdated one like it sometimes is. Well, I read a little more, and it was Opana 5 milligrams. I nearly shit a brick. I, being the explorer of drugs that I am, had already done ample reading on this drug and knew it from another report online, the champagne of opiates. That night I went and found the stash. It was hidden in the little pouch on the back of the passenger seat. I nearly collapsed with joy as I held 26 Opana 5 milligrams. I took 6 of them and put them back the same way, making sure the cap was even put on the same way. I went upstairs and proceeded on to a harm reduction website where I read that snorting is the only real way to get its recreational value. I crushed 1 5 milligram up and snorted half of it in one nostril. It tasted very sweet in my throat and nasal passages, surprisingly. It also went down easy, easier than Oxycontin 80 milligrams do when I snort them. Only 3 minutes later, I was getting pure euphoria and an unbelievable high that was less body and more high than oxycodone does. By 5 minutes, I was obliterated with intense joy and love for all things. I literally could have loved even the worst serial killer in the world in that mindset. And it continued strong for nearly 3 hours after. At about 3 hours after initial ingestion, I snorted the rest of the first pill and started to crush another. By the middle of crushing the next one, the other line hit me. Again, I was in pure bliss and utter relaxation. I'd compared it to Xanax, Oxy, and morphine mixed. Literally the best mindset I could be in, ever. Maybe 20 minutes after finishing that last line, I began snorting the next pill, but this time finishing it all at once. It easily all went down the same nostril without clogging, which surprised us a lot. And at this point, there was absolutely no pain whatsoever. I began even biting my arm harder and harder to see the painkiller aspects of this miracle drug. Within 10 minutes, I was so fucked up, I must have just laid my head down. I don't remember what I actually did. I believe I just sat there and kind of passed out/OD'd. But I woke up 3 hours later in the same spot. But where I had been was on the computer, at the computer desk in my room. If anyone walked in, they would have just seen me sitting on a chair, with my head lying on the computer desk like a dead man. I got nervous over the fact I had passed out so easily, and I was so vulnerable to have gotten caught, but luckily I never did. I abused the drug for 2 more days, the whole time telling myself that those 6 were all I was going to take because my dad needed the meds for his legitimate pain. However, my willpower fell to opiates, as it has before, and I went down there the first day I was out and took 4 more. That was it, for sure. It had to be, or I would get caught for sure. I used those 4 in the next 36 hours, and when I was out I wanted more, but I forced myself not to go down there. God, it was actually quite hard now that I think about it. But the addiction had gotten a hold of me that quick. Not physical addiction, but physiological. The same that gets me with my weed. I feel like I need it to stay in a good mood, or if I don't have it, I can't have a good mood. For 2 days, I didn't have much of a good attitude at all. I just wanted more opiates. But by the 3rd day, I was okay and back to myself. It has now since been 3 days short of that first day, and I still think about that drug with the biggest smile on my face. My dad is actually supposed to get this again soon, as he is up for another surgery. So I am quite happy to even be typing this, as I know that within a week I will have these again. The addiction is very real, and the high will always fall. I went hard on these only for a few days, and the tolerance was fucking making me so mad. By the 3rd day, it took 10 milligrams to get me high, and the first time I did 10 milligrams over like 4 hours, and I have never been more fucked up in my life. It is what it is, but this drug is like a disguise. Alright, everybody. That is the end of our story. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to like, share, subscribe. Share with us your Opana experiences down in the comments below. Check out the other videos and playlists on my channel, and I will see you in the next one, fam. Deuces.